Alright. Still setting up the camera here. Why can I not zoom out? Better if I flip the camera. How about that? Alright, let me get it up a little higher. Hi, who's out there? Figured I'd do a different video today. So many neighbors I attract over here too. Just giving the car a good polish job today. Getting ready for a car show here in a couple of weeks. Not that it's a show car, but I try to keep it in pretty good shape. So I'm just polishing it up, cleaning it up. Aaron's watching comments, I think. I'll check in on my comments too as I can. But just thought I'd do something boring and different today. What's everybody else up to? Howdy, Aaron. Anything bowling today? Anybody got any good stories? I wet sanded one spot right in the middle of the hood. Now I can't get it to shine up like the rest of the hood. Even though I'm using a mirror glaze finish. Hey Parker, what's going on today? Optical grade, extreme compounds, vinyl, scratch and swirl maneuver. Guess I'll start small, work my way up. So what's up, Bruce? Fantasy football. I've never tried that before. Who's your pick? Or what do you play mainly? Try the 32 and see what we got. I had 2 waffles for breakfast. Six teams. Parker's in school. Where are you in school at? That's proper English, right? Where are you at? say that did a lot better. I've been doing that for a long time. I think we might be going live later tonight if Mike comes over after work. I need to talk to him about that. About the 34. It was all plugged in. Let's see. Clyde, Savannah, New York State. Love to be up in New York. They got some cool little bowling alleys up there. New York, Pennsylvania, up in that area of the country. I guess I should be on the camera down here. I'll move it back. There we go. It's almost gone. So I say I polished or I wet sanded one spot in the middle of the hood. Now it's like doesn't match the rest of the hood. So who watched bowling last night? Pretty good that Zan did. Between Rochester and Syracuse. I've been to New York State up to. Let me move this into the garage maybe. Curious how many neighbors we're gonna get stopping by too. I'm curious about that too. I know I've seen some pictures of some bowling alleys, it seems like. I know I went to one, let's see, we're down on Canal Street and walked over to one. You had to go up in this old elevator, like the one that had the doors you had to close by hand. And it was up on the second floor, I think. I don't remember it being really old inside. I can remember the name of it, but it was somewhere down near Canal Street, down in, I guess, Manhattan somewhere. They even had like a pin setter up front that you could just sit and watch. They had set up just running up by lane 1, I think. That damn near got rid of it. So Let's take a look around the car here. Guess I gotta take the camera off to do that, probably would be best. And since I zip tied the microphone, I know, I hate the fact that they're closing all the time. Yeah, USA is the only bowling alley left, but this is Trixie, 57 four-door sedan. I'm giving a little wet sand job, fixing the paint up. Let me flip it around here. My hand out of the way. The inside of a car. And that, when I first got it, just worked on this clock, rebuilt that and put a new interior or new guts inside the clock. Still running. I hope it's 11, almost 11:20. But new headliner, reproduction of everything, the way the car was built. I did the headliner myself, came in a kit, redid the seats with the original type of interior. We got a neighbor coming, so I might have our first encounter. But that's the inside. Let me get out floor mats, get out and start polishing again here in a minute. I got the Kip's Big Boy and the Hula Girl on the front dash, of course. The old-timey compass. This came out of a 61 Impala. This was my first car. There goes the neighbor. He's going for a walk, I guess. My first car is a 61 Impala. This is my grandfather stuff in it. He had an altimeter, aviation surplus stuff that he put in, but he had this compass in the 61 Impala. Still works. He made this little center console. I added the drink holder to it. Having connection issues, so let me get out of the car, maybe that'll help. But this old center console table, my grandfather made that back in 1961. How did I get into bowling? Well, I don't remember exactly what prompted me to go bowling, but I think it was my grandmother had an old bowling set, like 10 little bowling pins, no bowling ball. And I used to go to her house and I'd set them up and just kind of play bowl, and I think it kind of took off from there. So she had set up in grade school. I set up a little 8-foot bowling lane in the playroom of the house, had a ball return, made a little masking unit, and set up the pins and kind of turned into my own little bowling alley. Used some Hot Wheels like race car track to make a ball return out of, and I think I had the hood from a dryer, had a groove in it all the way around, was the ball return that the ball would roll into. Then I went bowling for the first time when I was in 3rd grade, I think, Town North Lanes in Richardson, Texas. And I think Mom took me bowling there, and I started bowling. It was like a 16-lane AMF house in Richardson, Texas. And bowled there for about a year. I remember Saturday Junior League had 4 bowlers. We only had 4 people bowling, and so I went to Bowlerland after that, which is in Garland, Texas. That's what had the classic Brunswick Gold Crown masking units. There's a video, I think I've got it in a playlist on my page if you look at it. They did a news story at Bowlerland back in like 1976, and it shows the inside of it. So it was pretty cool. Bowled there for about a year or so, and then Don Carter's opened like Disney World in Dallas, where they put in 52 lanes, star shields, the one with the planets on them. It was pretty cool. And they had the Astroline automatic scoring that had just come out at the time. Quaker State Forum lanes, well, Forum lanes in Grand Prairie that always had the Quaker State every year had the Astroline scoring, but they had the 4-lane unit, and it worked where the machine went, the deck would go down on first and second ball to use the pin finders to run the scoring system. But the ones Don Carter's had scanners, and it would stop at 270 every time to identify on the ball return what bowler was up. Is pretty a mechanical nightmare, but I think it's like so cool. I wish I had one today. It'd be cool to have the thing running. But it would stop the machine at 270 identified, and then it would go up and it had like a glass screen that you lay the score sheet in, and the thing would stamp on the paper, which would put like an ink or something on the glass itself that would project up on the screen overhead. It was really cool. Those didn't last too long. I think they took them out in the early 80s, so they only were in there about 4 or 5 years, and they put in the AS80s, which was the New Brunswick scoring at the time. And I just bowled every Saturday on junior league, and of course in after school league they had a bowling bus, not the short bus, Aaron. He always jokes about that. They'd bring a school bus or they had painted up for Don Carter's. They'd pick us up after school on whatever day of the week was our school's turn to go bowling, and they'd take us bowling. I think we only bowled 2 games at the time. And then they drop us back off at the school after that, like 5 o'clock, just in time for dinner. So it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But it was pretty cool. They were very innovative at the time. And then of course, the good story was the one day we were driving home, and we're almost at my house, and the wheel fell off the bus. So it was funny. We're driving along, and I heard this noise, and I look out, and the wheels rolling past the bus went right into the side of a house, into their brick wall. And it was dented that way for years till somebody finally fixed it. But I think that continued to junior league and junior high, I think 7th grade, and then I got away from doing that and just started bowling Saturdays after that. But I always enjoyed it. Don Carter's was really cool back then. Let's check comments here. Trixie, yeah, is a 57 Chevy. How you doing, Joe? Yeah, the wheel fell off, literally. This is my reading the screen face, if you're wondering why I'm making faces at the camera. Where did you start bowling? And is the place still there? That's the big question. And yes, Trixie is as good, if not better, than a 1956 pin setter. She's 57, so she's a year newer, but I've changed everything on that car. I've gone in, when I first got it, drove it around the block one time because the brakes didn't work. You could hit the brakes and feel the car pull one way real bad, and I think 1 out of 4 brakes worked. So I drove it around the block, parked it, and then just started tearing into every system of the car. I replaced all the brake pistons, all the brake pads, the rotors, or not the rotors, the drums, because these are still drum brakes, which I haven't changed. I wanted to keep it original, kind of like the pin setter. I tried keeping Trixie all original and get original parts to put back on. And but I went in and replaced all the brakes so I knew I could drive it. And then the starter, replaced the fuel pump, replaced the fuel tank, replaced the fuel filter. I put one of the old glass filters. Let me show you that real quick. The old style glass filters, instead of like today you have like an inline cartridge. This is a car here. Look at that beautiful thing. But I went back and added the old glass style fuel filter on there. It's got a little cartridge inside of it, but you undo the little nut on the bottom. It's like a little glass container. You pull it out, change the filter, put it back in. I try to keep the engine original. It doesn't have the original air filter on it because it's an oil bath filter. I went with a standard air filter in it for now to modify it, because the oil bath one, it had corroded out the bottom. You're supposed to fill it with oil. The filter itself is pretty cool, and that oil traps the particles going in through that into the engine. But I replaced the brake cylinder, the master cylinder here. I actually added, this is a generator and power steering is all in one. And this came from a guy in California. He was taking the original power steering off his car, and this car did not have power steering. And if you've never driven a car without power steering, you want power steering. But he sold me his system, and I put it on this car and added power steering to the car, and it actually has the power steering pump connected to the generator. It's pretty cool. But I had to get that overhauled because it was leaking like the Titanic. Found a guy that overhauled them and would fix them to where they wouldn't, and sure enough, to this day it doesn't drip at all. I replaced all the bushings in the front end here, all new rubber and everything, put a new radiator in it that's the same style as the original radiator, and the transmission fluid pumps up through there to cool it and pumps it back in there. It's got the cool old horns that'll make you jump if I hit it. Didn't have a fan in it, so I found that fan on eBay and modified it to hook up to the heater system, and that's the heater hose comes off. There's supposed to be a valve right there that it doesn't have. I'm gonna try to get one and put it on there where you can control how much heat you get through the system. Because right now it's got a little cutoff valve right there. During the winter or during the summer, you close that valve so it doesn't pump any fluid in through the heater core, so you don't get heat inside the car. But yeah, I try to keep everything original. And if I get out of the garage here, it'll be better. But got the curb feelers down there on the bottom. How did the Astroline keep score? That was cool. Okay, there's two different ways. They had the 2-lane and the 4-lane version. I don't think it mattered on that one. Yes? Am I on Wi-Fi? Let me come here. Aaron's out here telling me I'm having connectivity problems. How do I running away from here? Yep, it'll work better than Wi-Fi. Thank you. Okay, back to me and the question here. How did the Astroline scores keep score? The original ones that Foreign Bowl had, if you look back at the Quaker State, like 1979, you'll see them in the background. They had a 4-lane Astroline scoring unit. But if you notice on second ball, the deck came back down again like it did on first ball, and the pin finders are little switches on each of the, well, it's kind of hard to show you on here, on mine, but I'll get over here and try to show you. Right there on the back of the bucket, that little gray thing in the arm, that's the pin finder that controls the lights on the back of the masking unit when I'm bowling to show you what's standing. And the Astroline scoring actually incorporated that into its scoring system. So the deck would come down on first and second ball. And I guess the only disadvantage, if you had an out of range, then it couldn't score, so you'd have to manually enter your score at that point. But the first ones, or I guess there's one of two options. The pin finders ran the scoring system. Hey, Inflight. Hello in Singapore. And the one Don Carter's actually had scanners, which we never knew what those were. It was like right above the ball return. We would know what they are now, but at the time you just see this little red light, you know, flashing on the pin deck when it came down, and we always wondered what that was. But the scanner actually would, you know, send the signal to the scoring system and run that way. But there's two ways that they did it back then. Let's see. Are we better on our connectivity, I hope? Hey, Charlie. 30-second break from school. Thanks for spending your 30 seconds with us. We're just out here doing a little car work on Trixie, getting her ready for a car show here in about 2 weeks. It's not a show car, it's an original car. I've touched the paint up on it, but I mean everything in it, you know, I've put reproduction interior in it. The door panels are reproduction, but if there's a part in the car, I try to find an original part to put back on it instead of a brand new reproduction shiny chrome part. I mean, that would look nice, but it just kind of goes against the integrity of the car for me. Same with the pin setter. I'm trying to keep the pin setter original as it was, which is going to be why it's going to be converted back to an A from a jetback. I'm going to be the first person in the world to unconvert a pin setter as far as I can. So let's see. What did you have to modify on the A2 to make it run with the Astroline scoring? There had to have been some kind of a cable that jumped into the pin finder system, because I remember the pin finders used to work on the ball return. So they had to, well, actually, they take that back. We didn't have that at Don Carter's, they had the scanner, which sent the signal to it. But I guess it, like the foreign bowl, when they had it, had to be something that jumped off the pin finder harness, because I'm sure their pin finders worked on the ball return, but they also sent the signal, you know, how many things were clicked, I guess, you know, 8, 9, strike, whatever, and that ran the scoring system. But I've got the old manual actually over here for you. If you've never seen one, I mean, talk about 1970s. It's funny, even the manual. Let me get it down here. I've got 2 of them. Here's one of them. This is the, let me flip the camera here. This is the Astroline automatic scoring. This console, if you watch the old Pro Tour from the Quaker State, you'll see these consoles set up. It even came in a wood grain catalog. But I'm surprised this manual's not bigger. But that's the, I think that's the 4-lane unit. Yeah, you'd have one for 4 lanes, September 72. So yeah, this is like when they first came out. So you ran out the deck switches, deck switching wire harness. So this is, I guess, talking about them running without a scanner. Good grief. Yeah, here we go. Here's a good diagram of it for the 2-lane system. You could do either a 2-lane or a 4-lane. And I looked up, I saw an old Brunswick catalog. They sold this system for $12,000. So go figure how much that cost back in the mid 70s when Don Carter's put 58 lanes in and did that stuff. So if we got any other, okay, here's, they had on the ball return in the center, it had like a little slider thing on one side. You had like for lane 5 or lane 5 over here and 6 over there. But if you're in league, then you'd slide this one down here. If you're the team on lane 6 bowling on lane 5, and you'd identify, and they all had different colors on them, and then you'd slide this one up here. Middle was always practice, and then the names weren't on there. I think the names are just there for whatever sake, but normally you had like 1 and it was a certain color, I think white, 2 was yellow, 3 was blue, 4 was red. God, I can't remember, it's been so long. But it was cool, and it would say wait, identify, and bowl up here in the top corner. Whenever the pin setter was cycling, it would say wait, and then the machine would stop at 270. If you watch, I've got some videos in the folder on the YouTube channel. If you go in there, look in the folders, I've got some from a guy who actually videotaped bowling on these things back in the 70s. I think I have it labeled Astroline, but look it up. But it'd say wait, identify when it was at 270, and then when the machine was ready, bowl would light up on the top corner. So let's see what else. I've never looked through here. But yeah, these score sheets would slide in under the thing and print on there. Oh, are we asking about the pins again? And the A parts? I know. Believe me, y'all will be the first to know when they get here. They're supposed to be here by the 20th. I've talked to them about that, and I guess here's your wiring harness that incorporated with the pin finders and the ball return. That's like an above ground that is depicting there. That's kind of cool. Pin finder cable. Yeah, I guess it just patched in up there. But yeah, they're supposed to be here by the 20th. I told them I've got to have them by the 20th because they're running a tournament here in a couple of weeks. And I told them if I have to drive up there and pick them up myself, I will. But hopefully we don't have to do that. They'll be here. Try and find some other cool pictures. But anyways. Yeah, Astroline scoring was pretty wild at the time. I think it came out about the same time as AMF Magic Score. Oh, are we talking about the color dots? You're talking about for the on the AMF pin finders? Yeah, I'm glad I didn't work on those back then, because I probably would hate them right now. But I can talk to people who used to work on them. I think David H. used to work on them for Don Carter's when he first started. They may have been gone by then, by the time he was there, but I'm sure he hates them. Oh, there's a good picture of it. So you had 4 different ones. She had like lane 1, 2, 3, and 4 off of one unit here, and they project up on a screen over the lanes, kind of like the telescores did. But what a nightmare to put these things in and maintain them. Sure somebody got rich back then working on these things. But anyway, I could look at this stuff all day, but I won't right now. What's everybody else up to today? Had bowling last night. If you didn't watch, Zan was on fire her last game. I've never seen her bowl like that before. I think 9th frame, she had 7 out of 9 strikes with a spare. And the 2 that she didn't strike on should have been strikes. I mean, it was like the 7-pin. And pins were all up over it, and it just would not fall down. And then I think she left the 5, 9. No, it was either 8 or a 9-pin, I think, on another one. But she made one, missed one. And then the 10th frame got up and opened. I was so heartbroken for her. But I was proud of her last night, though. She was killing it. And then I was leaving Frank on another team. He almost had a 700 last night. I caught the end of Tom's game when he had 110 and like the 7th frame. Then he struck out for an even 200. So there's a lot of good bowling going on last night. I think I had other than a couple of opens, because I started slow and didn't adjust quick enough on lane 9. Had a couple opens, so I ended up with 700, I think, easy. Because I think a 250. No, I had a 665. That's right. I opened in the 10th frame, then realized if I had picked it up, I would have had a 666, and I'd have been cursed for the week. Not that I'm superstitious, but you know. But I was glad I opened at this point. 259 the last game, I think. I can't remember. I wish I moved. One board to the right on lane 9 is all it took. And that kind of made everything work. As I say, we're going to try to go live tonight. Maybe I'll talk to Mike, see if he wants to come by after work. And I got to clear off the lane, which has accumulated a few things during the week, which it always does. There is a surprise in this box that only a couple of people know about. And it's going to be very cool. There's another box coming. But stay tuned. There'll be something really cool here in a couple of weeks. I'll give you a quick hint. All right, that was it. So, just throwing that out there. I'm just getting the car ready for a car show here next Saturday, I think. It's just, I'm not looking to win anything. It's just a car show. You go out and park it. You know, maybe they got like a daily driver that's from 1957, I'll win that award or something, but I'm just going to do it for fun. Give Trixie a little exposure. This is I'm reading the comments on the phone screen face. I'll have to look for the pic. I don't know if I saw him or not, Bruce. I think I did. Oh, I hear somebody. We have a neighbor. What's up? Say hello to the world.
Hey, world.
We're live on YouTube.
Hey. Uh-oh.
Even in Singapore is watching right now.
I came to pick up my car.
Oh, okay. Robin's here to take the car.
Yeah. Thanks.
There you go.
See
It's
you
been
later.
nice. See you later. Bye.
Appreciate you taking care of it for me.
Of course. Robin and Sharon live up the street from us. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I caught it. Thank you.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
that was good.
Snake-like reflexes. Huh?
What are you doing?
Just went live and was working in the car and hadn't done anything in a week, so I figured we'd just fire up the camera, go live, talking bowling and stuff, and
Good for you.
polishing the car up. There's a car show coming up, I think next Saturday. I'm just gonna enter it. It's not gonna get nothing, but
You never
just
know.
take it up there and have it on. Just so I'm doing a little wet sanding on it, polishing it up, and
We
cleaning
get
up a few
the
things.
replays.
Yeah,
Yeah, when it's
Yeah.
his turn.
yeah. But that's it.
We don't want to interrupt your narrative.
Not a problem.
We saw it sitting out, and I thought I'd better go check on it.
Well, thanks for coming by.
Stealing everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping an eye out on us. All right, good to see you guys. We need to do.
Thanks to Mary and Aaron.
I will. We need to do lunch or dinner one of these days.
I know, we need to.
whenever y'all aren't so busy.
I know. Thanksgiving. Now we're getting ready for the big
All right.
Thanksgiving meal for the family now.
Sounds good. See you later.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Watch your step there.
Oh, yeah. That's our neighbors from up the street. Forgot where I was. Oh, yeah, the gutters. I was just reading that comment. How come the lane is raised at an angle? There's a good story there. What happened to the gutters of your lane? The gutters are still there. And there is a slight slope. If you haven't noticed before, the lane is sloped because the pin setter has to be at that height. Can't be any lower, just because of the way the pin setter mounts, or else you have to cut the kickbacks down. So that's the height of the pin setter. But on the other end is the door, and if you notice, the approach and the floor are the same height on that end. So there's about, I can't remember the amount of drop it is in there, but there is a slight incline to offset the height. Because if I had the height of the pin setter all the way across, you'd open up the garage door, or actually you wouldn't be able to open the garage door into the garage. The door would hit the approach, and then you'd have to step up to come out into the garage. So to get past that, put a small incline on it, and it doesn't really create any issues, except if we get any kids in the garage bowling, they throw the ball not too hard, or if you notice when we do like a throw 2 balls at it shot or something, I'll throw one, and if I don't throw it fast enough, it doesn't make it all the way up there. But it's a very, very slight incline. It's not that big. It's not even noticeable for a regular bowler. But in this case, for what we have, it was necessary for the installation. And with my mama living here, she comes out the door, the last thing we need is a step for her to have to step up and down on. So that minimizes everything for her sake. So let's see, who else has got any questions, comments? I didn't see the gutters. No, gutters are here. Let me get a better shot here. Gutters are here, and they're, what I'm doing, this is the giant inflatable ball with the inflatable pins over there, but I've got a bunch of old parts for the car that I dug out, and they're listed on eBay right now, so they're kind of taking over the free space, plus the surprise in the box that's going to be created here. This is a surprise. You'll see soon enough. More car parts. So go on eBay, look for seller 757. Go buy some 57 Chevy used parts from me. You can get them very cheap. Some stuff for $1. Help me out here. Got to clear out the garage. Let's see. Show the gutters. I did. Yeah. Now the gutters are there. I need to put up I've got some boards. I want to put up a little wall along the side where the gap is there to kind of fill all that in. But if you don't realize how much wiring is in here for what we have for our setup that we do live, I got cables and wiring and stuff going everywhere for the AMF triangle to all of our cameras up front. It's all basically camera wiring. There's a few power cables and stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that you don't see set up in here. Because we are wired, there's like 6 or 7 cameras permanently set up in the garage, and we just go around and turn them on whenever we're ready to do our live thing. It used to be we'd have to do a setup every single time, and finally I just said, let's just mount cameras and make it easier on us. So whenever we start, I just have to go around and turn them all on. They all run up to the mixer up front where Aaron sits, and he watches. There goes Karen. Where he can watch the cameras, switch everything. All the audio's hooked up. We're kind of permanently wired up there. The ladder, of course, folds up into the ceiling, but it comes down 1 foot on the lane, 1 foot in the gutter. Let's see. Show the bowling pins in the box next to the pin setter. I can do that. Well, which ones? I got some LED lighting. I need to work on that too. Yes, Aaron says. Got a bunch of color pins. Got a new twister too. Almost new mixer. Found these green pins. I think somebody made them, dipped them or something, but they're really well made. Yes, sir. It's ready. Yeah. Yeah. You can come up and bowl sometime. So, it's doing good. Just giving a little wet sanding it and fixing up her car show coming up next weekend over here at the park.
Oh, I saw that collaborative.
Yeah.
Is that a good one to go to?
I've been up there once just looking, but that's been it.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting ready for that. Yeah. But if you ever want to come bowling, come down sometime.
I'm looking for you. I never see you out here.
Well, I'm trying to now that it's cooling off. I can open up the doors and come outside.
See you later.
You bet. See ya. Okay, the old vintage Brunswick pins. All right, let's see what I got here. Let me put my phone down for a second and I can show you a little bit more. I'm not signed off. Or oops. Let me set the phone down here for a second. We're still on. I just need 2 hands here. All right. Here's some good ones. If you like old pins, I got these. Oops, there we go. These are in the church where I got the pin setter. They're pretty roached, but they're Strike Masters. I've got a couple of them. They're not in the best of shape. And there's an old AMF tournament pin here that came out of the church. It's pretty bad too. But here's a cool one. It's a Brunswick Score King. It's not a Score King 50. It's a Brunswick Score King. Found that in the church also. There's a Brunswick Max, Glow Max. We bowl on those sometimes. I've got this one. This is an extra pin. An All-American. It's a wood pin, just painted. Got that one. Another AMF. Another Strike Master. So I've got 3 Strike Masters. I found even some Ripley Duramarks in there too. But there's that. Let me put the Score King back in here. Now here's the good box. B Red Crown. It's a beautiful pin. Brand new. Then we have 3 Strikers. This one's got a cracked head. I think this is the one Mike has been eyeing for some time here. And I got this other one. Another Striker. It's in relatively great shape. Just need to clean up the head of it a little bit. But it hasn't cracked or anything. It's not new, but it's pretty new. There's another one that the label came off of. It's a Brunswick Flyer, Am-Flight, new mixer, another new Am-Flight, and a Max Stripe. It's not new, but it's been used, but it's in really good shape. Hadn't been used that much. So that's what's hiding in the stack of boxes next to the pin setter that doesn't see the light of day very often. So that's the good stuff. The rest of the stuff is kind of more of the same. Let's see. There's an Am-Flight registered. Another Score King, not 50. Another new Flyer. Got a couple of new twisters. Am-Flight. There's a Voltex. And there's a really, really old wooden pin there. So got those. So that's what's hiding in the boxes next to the pin setter. So lots of cool stuff. I think I got some more in those other boxes next to it. I think are like mixers and some Dunrights that are new. And I forget that, can't remember what else, but these bowling pin crates are really cool though. Blatco Bowling Pin Company, Acme Billiard and Bowling Supply, Cleveland, Ohio. Those are pretty cool. So, what else has anybody got for today? Do a sound test on all your bowling pins. Let me see here. Oh, I know they're gonna sound good though. Some of them I don't want to drop, but here's this. Ooh, that's Score King. Whoops, we flipped the camera around. Oh, I see. Well, the head's good. It's just this side's got a little delamination in the coating. The striker, I won't do it to that one. Here, let's do this one. That's got a good sound to it. And of course, everybody's favorite twister. People gotta love the twisters. Mixer. Sounds pretty good. Camera's getting mad at me for orienting itself wrong. So that's that. Oh, flip it back around here. Yeah, those pins are pretty good. I was lucky to find them. So I found 4 strikers. One of them's up on the shelf though. It's the best one out of all of them. I think it's brand new. That's up there. Let's see, it's the one in between to the left of that darker pin, the one that's kind of white next to the Dura King. That's the other Score King, or the other striker that's real good. Can I cycle the pin setter? Surely. She hadn't run in a few days, so it would be good to turn it on and cycle it. Let me get over on this side. Talking about this, there we go, this old sign to Charlie. It's an old men's room bathroom sign that we found scrounging one day. There we go. Let's see. Change the did they change the logo? I think Mike was telling me they had. Let me reach under and turn the machine on. Still need to replace the shaker mounts and plug the deck light back in because we're running the black lights. Mechanical time delay. Pin finders are lit up, except the 8, which never comes on when there's a full set of 10. Yeah, I was talking about the mechanical time delay. There's a set screw down here. That's the needle valve that controls the time delay on the gearbox that the Model A's had when they first came out. Now it's electronic, but this is the clutch release mechanism here, the reset lever. When you pull it back on the normal pin setters now, it comes up immediately, but when you have the old mechanical time delay involved, it slowly raises up and you get your 2 or 3 second delay there. There you go. Got the electrical box cover off. I was doing a rewire job for Rod J. He was telling me how to eliminate the electronic time delay, and it worked. So he was correct. Back to the camera here. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to Mike, see if I can get him to come by later today after he gets off work. Maybe we can do a live tonight, about 11 o'clock tonight. So We'll see what his schedule's like. Hopefully so, because we haven't done one since last weekend. This weekend he was not feeling well, so we had to skip doing Saturday and Sunday. So we had talked about doing Sunday, but didn't work out. Anyways, well, I'm gonna get back to working on Trixie, I guess. Just thought I'd do a quick video showing the car off. Flip it back around here again. Actually, I didn't do a full view of the car here. There's the front. There's a beautiful original engine. Yes, I'm gonna get the A2 pulley when all my stuff shows up, hopefully before the 20th. And I'm gonna put an A2 pulley on the pin setter and watch the fun ensue. 11, what's 11? Talking about going live tonight. I think 11 o'clock, depending on Mike and his schedule. But original, all original on that car. Open up the old trunk here. Got the carpeted trunk in here. I painted the sides in it. Even found the old original placard for the jack and everything. It's got the original type of spare tire in there. And just got to clean it up a little bit. Even found an old car dealership logo that was an actual car dealership back then. And there's a really good story that I really can't tell too much about, about that Parrish and Clark name on there. But it's just a really cool story for those who know it. So it's tropical turquoise is a exact color name for the car itself. Got the big ass steering wheel. I know they make a smaller version of that now, but that's the original steering wheel and that's what's in it. Original dash, the original instrument cluster, which I repainted that because when I first got it, I need to do a video on when I first got it and of what pictures I do have. It was in sad shape. Everything was redone like 30 or 40 years ago and it had all just rotted out, and they just parked the car in a field. They've been sitting for about 20 years not doing anything. So I kind of rescued it, replaced everything on it. Love the sound of that door closing. But of course you got the big old fat white wall tires on it. It's a must. Another shot of that beautiful engine. Original 283 power steering, which I added. And it's still got the drum brakes, which work real well. That's just a cool front end right there. So, and of course you got the Chevy Gold logos on it. But anyways, I'll talk to Mike, see if he can come over later, and we'll see if we can't do a video late tonight. Hopefully so. And I guess that's about it for now. So thanks for watching. Thanks for all your comments. Really? Illegal to drive vintage cars in Singapore? Unless, whoops. I missed the rest of that comment. I can only read. How could it be, I guess, what, because of emissions or what? Luckily, we don't have any of that here in the US now, but one day they may, and then you have to convert everybody's engine over to a new modern day computer. Oh, start the car. I can do that. If you want to hear some music. All right, let me flip it around here. Pump the accelerator twice. And get the key in the right way and it'll start easier. Starts right up. Gas mileage, about 12. I've monitored every single mile on this car since I got it, filled it up. I've kept a complete maintenance record every time I've like rebuilt the carburetor, tweaked the carburetor, did every oil change, every filter change. Every time I put gas in the car, I keep track of it so I can tell you exactly how many miles I got on each tank. Oh, here's another thing. Watch this here. Start the car up and you got your car keys. You forgot to grab something in the house. You can take your key out and go in the house while the car's still running. Old cars used to do that. Now you can't do that anymore. But well, you should move to the US. Then you could drive around in a big old tank like this. Oh, 9 miles per gallon. How did you drive that thing? Or how big was the motor? This is a 283, and I know if I got it overhauled, it'd probably be better. If I put a 4-barrel carburetor in it, it would probably be better. But I'd have to change out the, I forget parts. The intake manifold, I believe. I'd have to get a 4-barrel carb manifold on there and the 4-barrel carburetor. Wow. That's too bad. Come to the US, you can drive anything you want here. And when I go get an inspection, it's like $7. It's called a safety inspection. They don't do the sniffer on the tailpipe. So they just do a check of the turn signals and lights and everything else, drive it, make sure it starts and stops. And that's all you have to do on this car for an inspection is $7. That's it. So you don't have to do the, they call it the butt sniffer, where they stick the thing up. Man, I hope you can come over to the US one day, Amflight. If you do, let us know. I'd love to be able to get it up to 14 or 15, but... Oh, train videos. If you're into train videos, Jeremy, if you have any interest in some old VHS train videos, let me know, because we've got a shelf full of them, and they're just sitting there. My uncle used to send one to my dad every Christmas. It's got a bunch of cool, trains like in Colorado and stuff. He used to send one to him every year, and they're just sitting on the shelf. We don't watch them anymore. I'd like for them to get viewed and appreciated. Maybe I could transfer them to video somehow and upload them. But yeah, trains are cool. No, a lot of people like bowling are into trains too. I think Charlie is a big train person too. James, he's come over to the garage a few times. He's big into trains also. Another neighbor. Yeah, trains are really awesome. I know my dad and I drove out one time while he was still here. Went out to East Texas and caught the Amtrak train and kind of followed it along. And we drive, stop, and watch for it to pass again. And we drive past again, stop, wait for it to pass again. It was pretty cool to see that. We used to have the Tarantula train in downtown Grapevine. It was an old steam locomotive that drove from downtown Grapevine to Fort Worth and back every day. Let's see. What is that? Car owners can own their cars for 20 years only. After that, we must surrender our cars to the government as we can't drive anymore, or else we pay and change parts. I think I've heard about that camera. A guy at work showed it to me one night, I think, with the live camera on the trains up there. So I'll have to check that out. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to doing a little car polishing and getting Trixie finished up here. Maybe look for us live tonight. Hopefully, I'll post a video a couple hours prior just to kind of give a heads up if we do. $66 billion to Amtrak? Good grief. They should get some old-timey steam locomotives for that kind of money and run them. Make it a cool vintage railroad. Could you imagine that again? Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks, Aaron, for watching comments and stuff too, and I'll hopefully see y'all tonight. If not, we'll do something later this week. Pin videos and everything else too. I know I'm getting behind on those too, so anyways, good seeing y'all. Talk to you later. Bye, in flight from Singapore.